Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weiss. I thank you so much for joining us. And we are so very excited to talk about how exciting Mardi Gras is in its generations. And so we welcome into the program three very unique people as we walk in. First, Mr. Audie Levron is a co-captain with Cleophas. Welcome.
Thank you.
And we're glad that you're here. Sitting next to him, you can recognize a queen when you see one, Miss Gwen Levron, a 2022 Queen and Treasurer of Cleophas. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And let's go to Zoom as we welcome in Dr. Ben. Ben, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, glad that you're here. So let's start with you, the Queen. Always start with royalty, right? Tell me just a little bit about why Cleophas and what that means to you.
I have been involved with the Krewe of Cleophas for 38 years now.
Okay.
I joined mainly because my parents were in it.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a family thing. Like I said, my parents are in it. My sister, my brother-in-law, my nieces and nephews. It's more of a family tradition for us.
More than anything, right?
More than anything.
We're excited to be able to talk with Mom and Dad about that a little bit later.
Yes,
too.
they're
So that's
very
gonna be
excited.
Really cool.
Yes.
Yeah. And so how about you, Audie? Tell us a little bit about what it means to you.
Well, the Krewe of Cleophas, I joined in 37 years ago.
Holy cow. That's a long time.
And what happened was my wife had joined first, and then I joined after.
Okay.
I was king in 1992, and from there I was captain for a while, and then co-captain
Right.
for a while.
Right.
And go ahead.
And so that's so very important because now we see the importance of that transition. And king and queen are kind of chosen by putting your name in a hat, right? For those people that are wanting to do it. So you put your name in the hat and they chose you as queen, right?
So it's roughly 35 years I've been putting my name in.
So you've been doing that since you've been involved.
35 years, and I finally have been chosen queen.
And so the year you get chosen queen, Ben, you get chosen king.
Correct.
So
That's right.
Tell me what it's like for you to be able to do this as the royalty, as the king, being able to do that with your mom in the Krewe of Cleophas.
I mean, it was a lot easier to do with her because her wanting to do this for the last 35 years or so, she had a lot more ideas as to what she wanted to have and everything. And it was just nice to be able to kind of help facilitate making that happen, to keep everything calm in the court, as you know.
Right, very good. And very consistent as well, right? And so, Ben, tell us a little bit about what it means to you to be king and what you're looking forward to for this ride, this Mardi Gras.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to having a good time, to having that celebration with family, which is something that we've always done. I joined the Krewe in about 2012.
Okay.
However, every year, for as long as I can remember, it's from January forward, it's been kind of working on building the floats and buying beads. And there's a lot of like family involvement that whole January through Mardi Gras season, preparing for everything. And so it's nice to have your own plaque on the wall kind of deal for that. But I'm gonna kind of miss being with my grandparents and my aunts and uncles on the float as well. So it'll be fun.
So it's awfully exciting, but it's one of those things where you're not too sure about how you feel about being on a different float because that's what you've known for 10 years. So you bring up a really good point, Ben. And so same thing goes for you, right?
Yes.
I mean, you've been doing it for this long, and quite frankly, you don't look old enough to be in a crew for that long. But tell me what your excitement level is about being able to be on the Queen's float. And since you've wanted to do this for 35 years.
It's just, like I said, Audie was king. My sister was queen. Brother-in-law was king. I have a niece who was a queen. So it's kind of like a family tradition. So it's like I was the only one kind of left where I want to be queen one day,
Right.
So it was just, and I think it was just kind of meant to be this year. I just had a special feeling about it.
Right.
And then if the first year we actually rode or reformed as a club was in 71.
Okay.
And this would have been like our 50th year since the reformation. So I would have been acknowledged, but I'm actually Queen 66 instead of 50.
Okay.
But it's
Got
50
you. When
years
y'all-
since the Reformation.
The Reformation.
Yeah.
So the Reformation
So it's
matters.
kind of a special time.
Well, look, and if people don't believe in fate, they need to believe in it now,
Yes.
because this was really meant to be. There
Yeah.
are some meant to be's, or from my definition, as God would have it, you get to be the queen along with your son, whom
Yes.
y'all are obviously very, very proud of.
Yes, we are.
Right.
We are.
And what he does. And so we've only got about a minute left. So tell us a little bit about what you're most looking forward to, even for the whole weekend, because the weekend starts on Friday,
Right.
and it carries through Sunday, and hopefully you get enough chance to recover before
Yes.
figuring out what that happens for the rest of the weekend. So tell me what you're looking
Well,
forward to most.
I'm looking forward to our party Friday night. We have
Okay.
our ball Friday night.
Okay.
So we'll be introduced in costume for the first time to our crew members and family and friends who are going to be there.
So there was the
So-
Reformation, and then there's the introduction.
Yes. And so, I'm looking forward to that. And then, we have a full weekend where we have a children's parade in the Bourne Saturday. So, that. And then Sunday, we're going to parade through the streets of Thibodaux. And I'm just looking forward to seeing all family and friends and meeting new people on the streets of Thibodaux.
Sounds great. Well, Queen, thank you so very much. Congratulations,
so
celebrating on
much.
the 35th year. Mr. Audie, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it very much.
You're welcome.
And Dr. Ben, thank you so much, and congratulations on being able to be the king along with Mom the Queen. We appreciate it, and good luck on your ride, and enjoy the weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you got it. Thank you all again for joining
Thank
us.
you.
We welcome into the program Miss Peggy Ordoyne, co-captain of Cleophas. Welcome.
Thank you.
We're very glad you're here. Sitting next to her, David Gauthreaux, captain of Cleophas this year. Welcome to the program.
Glad to be here.
All right. Now, Miss Peggy, tell us a little bit about you, how long you've been in Cleophas, and what it means to you.
I have been a member of the Krewe of Cleophas for 49 years.
Holy cow.
Cleophas
is
is family
awesome.
to me.
Well, I mean, it's probably as much family as anybody you're related to.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, and probably a lot of those people you are related to that have been, right?
Yes, very many. I have 2 floats full of family.
Holy cow. Some people have a float that they're excited about. Miss Peggy's got 2. And that's a really good thing. So when you joined earlier, how different is it now than it was way back when?
Oh, it's a lot different.
Yeah?
Yes, we were very small,
Okay.
quaint,
Okay.
just
Just a small crew
Small
back
crew.
then. And now y'all are huge,
now we big
right?
and more flamboyant.
Okay. So y'all grew from being quiet and quaint to large and flamboyant.
That's it.
I love it. What a great way to change. Tell us a little bit about not riding last year and what that was like.
It was hard
Yeah,
because
that's what I'm hearing.
we look forward. We design and build our own floats.
Wow, that's different and unique.
That's where the family comes in. Everybody in the club is at that float barn every weekend, working, decorating,
So
to
when
get
we,
their float. Everybody they competitive. Everybody
Okay.
wants to have the best looking float.
All right, and so that's really, really unique. So now I understand what the barn means to the Krewe of Cleophas. That's very unique. So as it was mentioned earlier, that barn and the events that take place, that's a big deal. That's where the magic happens.
Right.
Okay. So David, speaking of one of those things, let's talk about how excited y'all are to ride this year.
It's just great to be back on the streets of Thibodaux again after a year of hiatus. It's the excitement of the members, the excitement's building up to Friday night. Like when Gwen and Audie were on the first segment. Cleophas is a family-oriented crew. I mean, I'm kind of the baby of the group, I guess,
Okay.
today.
It's good to be the baby, right?
Yeah, I got in back in 1992, right after my wife and I got married. My name had been on the waiting list probably about 10 years before we got in. And that's back then, you had to get on a waiting list.
Okay.
And the average waiting list was anywhere from 5 to 10 years before you got accepted into club because they had a membership number. You can only
Sure.
have X amount of numbers.
Sure.
So the anticipation of getting into the club was just wonderful. And then my reception into the club was just absolutely wonderful because I got in for 2 years, and then in my 3rd year of membership, one of the co-captains retired, and I got called by some of the board members and said, would you like to do this?
Wow.
And I said, sure. So my love for Mardi Gras is just great. I grew up with Mardi Gras, and growing up, my mom and dad loved Mardi Gras. I married a New Orleans woman, so she was a debutante, did the whole Mardi Gras thing. So we're a perfect match for each other, and as far as Mardi Gras goes, and I just bleed purple, green, and gold.
I love it. I love it. And it also talks about the fact that marrying somebody from New Orleans as a debutante, she understands the history. You've got some history for us today.
Correct. The way the club started was back in the 50s. It was a group of gentlemen who got together, and it was an all-male crew.
Okay.
So,
like most things were back then.
Correct. That's how it was.
Right.
So what they did was they had a male queen and a female queen, but the queen dressed, the male dressed like in drag, I guess you could say, in today's word.
Dressed like a queen.
You know, but of course back then it was acceptable.
Right.
You know, there was a lot of partying, a lot of, spirits were being partaken at that time.
Right.
So they did it. And the people of Thibodeau accepted it. The route around Thibodeau was always different. They went to different neighborhoods and streets, and you never knew where Cleophas was going to pass.
Oh, so
it was kind of a secret thing. You had to kind of follow them and catch them where you could.
Wow.
So this went on for several years until finally it kind of got a little slow and it got disbanded. And it was never incorporated at that time. It was just a group of gentlemen who had kind of invested into it. So when they decided to disband, they just dispersed the assets that were in the crew. Okay. And then in 1970, some of these groups of men got together and said, we want to do another parade. At the time, they approached Mayor Warren Harang, and they wanted to parade on the Sunday before Mardi Gras. Well, he said, well, that's Cleophas' Sunday. We can't do that, unless you incorporate yourselves and you become the Krewe of Cleophas and incorporate. So that's where that all came again. And since 71, they rolled their first parade again. And like Gwen said, 67 years, 50 years.
That's right. That's how that happened.
So we're going back.
We've only got about a minute left. We maybe have time for one picture.
Great.
Share with us this picture and tell us about it for a
This
sec.
picture was from the original Krewe of Cleophas, where it was the two men who were dressed as king and queen. They had an after parade party at the old College Inn, which I'm sure a lot of older members would remember.
Right.
And they just had a fantastic time. Matter of fact, it's Peggy's uncles, believe it or not. So that's how generous Peggy's been involved back then. And it's just a family-oriented thing. And that's what I think our crew loves to be. It's just that family atmosphere we bring to the streets of Thibodeau among our float members. The decorating of the floats, the camaraderie that goes on in the weeks prior to Mardi Gras, parade day, of preparing our floats and decorating our own floats. And we're proud of it.
Yeah.
We're proud. And the people of Thibodeau look forward to seeing what we come up with and the ideas we come up with.
Homemade stuff from you guys.
That's
I love
correct.
it. David, Peggy, thank you so very much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
I am so very excited to bring to you some very involved and very special members of the Krewe of Cleophas. We welcome first Miss Veronica, also known as Miss Ronnie Morvant. Welcome to the program, Miss Ronnie.
Glad to be here.
All right, sitting next to her, Mr. Nelson Morvant. Mr. Nelson, thanks for being here. We're glad you're here. And sitting next to him, welcome back, Mr. David Gauthreaux, the captain of the Krewe of Cleophas this year. Talking about how easy it is, right? Because of all the things that have been put in place by people before you.
That's correct.
Well, we know Miss Ronnie and Mr. Nelson are the people that came before you. You guys are charter members of the Krewe of Cleophas. Tell me what it was like way back then, Miss Ronnie.
Well, we joined in 1972, and in 1973 we rode, and it was just a plain bandwagon with palmettos.
Okay, so
We
it was
used
just
palmettos.
a bandwagon palmettos,
Yeah.
right, Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
They put those on the float. So, Mr. David, I think you've got some pictures of that. We're going to try and get a shot of that for you guys. And if
Not
you
of
can
that, we
see,
do.
it's just these older floats that David is holding up. And so these are what it was like many, many years ago. And we're talking about 1972, 1973, 1974. So many, many, many years ago and what that was like. David, thank you very, very much. And so the crew back then was pretty small, right?
Yes, we had about 125 to 130 members when we started.
Oh, wow. So
That's
what
it.
was it that made y'all decide? Mr. Nelson, what was it that made y'all decide to join?
Mostly my wife.
Miss Ronnie said, that's what we doing, and you said, yes, ma'am. Okay, listen, I know what that's like. We got to listen to our wife.
I had to do it.
All right. And then, but I've to understand, y'all didn't just have to do it. Y'all did it very well. Y'all would make your own floats, right?
That's
We
right.
got our own float.
And that's very unique. A lot of these crews kind of borrow or go and get some. And so made it very difficult. I know last year when y'all didn't get to ride, so y'all did a lot of work, but just didn't get a chance to ride, right?
That's right.
And of that time, there's only one other year that y'all didn't ride, right?
Yeah,
Mr. Nelson, and that was when?
yeah.
That was just a couple years in, right?
Yeah.
And so I know that your mother had passed away, and that was one of those things that was important to realize family comes first.
Yeah.
And y'all did that. But Cleophas is like family to y'all, right?
That's right.
Let's talk about the generations, because look, this show is not only just about Mardi Gras, but it's about the generations. Talk about how proud you are of all of the people and the next generations that have been involved.
Well, we had a lot of family and a lot of royalty in all these years.
Okay,
But when we first started, everything was very, very simple.
okay,
And even decorating the floats, and the throws. Like we did a lot of home things, like bean bags that was filled up with bird seeds. That was our throws for the first two
bean bags filled with bird seeds.
for the first few years, couple of years.
So, May, if you threw it too hard, you could feed the birds.
Yes.
Okay, I like it.
They didn't have too many beads.
Right,
And-
beads weren't something that was really popular back then, right?
That's
And if
right.
they were really
And
expensive.
then about 1974, that's when they started with the doubloons and the beads from the Carnival Club.
Okay,
So we could purchase a few,
right.
But we had good times, and we had a lot of family, and we made a lot of friends.
Well, I can imagine over the years, I mean, y'all
Yes.
have been doing this for 50 years.
That's right.
What a wonderful celebration of Mardi Gras.
And now we're very excited to see that Gwen was our queen and grandson.
So look, Gwen's already been a queen, right, for you, but now she's actually the queen of
She
Cleophas.
is the queen after all these years.
Right, and how unique. So for 35 years she wanted to do that.
That's right.
So that's exciting.
But
So you've
we
got to
did-
be awfully proud.
We did put our names quite a few years also, but
Okay.
we never got picked.
Okay, well, listen, y'all are royalty no matter what. Y'all are Cleophas royalty, and that's a really good thing. And so now your grandson is the king.
That's right.
How unique is that?
Very, very, very proud of him,
Yeah.
so happy for him.
So Dr. Ben gets to be the king when your queen actually gets to be the queen.
Yeah.
So really nice. Is there one thing that you've seen that's really changed over the years that you can say?
Not that much. I mean, the people
Right?
and, so much people.
You don't recognize people on the floats no more.
So it's been
always
so
going.
long and so
Yeah,
many more
yeah.
people, kind of like David was talking about, it takes a while. He was waited for 10 years. And so I'm sure there's probably a waiting list of people that want to be a part of Cleophas.
You don't recognize none of them.
It's all different,
It's
right?
all
So things have
different,
changed.
yeah.
Well, listen, y'all may not recognize some of the people that are on those floats, but I promise you they recognize you.
Yeah, we
They
get
know
called
they know who the real royalty is in Cleophas. And look, that's something awfully special. I love the fact that y'all have been involved for so many years, that it's such a family, not only family oriented, but it's your family, and you have an extended Cleophas family.
That's right.
And I can't thank you enough for coming on to talk with us
Oh,
today.
thank you so much.
And so my last thought is, where are y'all going to watch the parade?
We riding.
Y'all are riding. See, that's why I asked that question.
Back of the
I knew y'all were riding. I knew y'all were gonna ride. Y'all, that's what royalty's about.
Yeah.
Finishing
The back
out
of the float.
the back of the float. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for being so involved
Well.
for 50 years, and thank y'all for coming on and making sure you're sharing your family, your immediate and your Cleophas family, with our community.
Well, thank
Very
you
nice.
so much for having us.
We appreciate
The
it.
daughter was queen too.
Yeah, Becky was queen too.
Lots of royalty in your family.
Yeah,
We
everybody.
appreciate it. Y'all have a wonderful ride on Sunday at 12:30. We
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much.
Thank y'all for joining us,
Thank
David.
you.
We appreciate it
Thank
as
you
well.
very much.
That will do it for this edition of Bayou Time. Don't go anywhere. Whole lot more local program on HTV when we continue.